We made a decision together that you were going to be a stay-at-home mom after Luca was born. And knowing that we were going to go from 2 incomes down to 1 income, and that I was going to be the sole producer and the sole provider for the family monetarily, there was a lot of pressure on me. And at that time, the real estate market was so hot and things were moving so fast that I felt compelled to stay in the business, to make as much money as possible, so that in the event that the market turned, which it did, we had put ourselves in a good position.
But it doesn't come without actually accepting help when people offer.
Yeah, I think that's huge, right? One is the ability to accept help and receive help when you need it. And then 2, whether somebody chooses to put their kid in daycare or hire a nanny or be a stay-at-home mom, or it's a combination of them, I think the big thing is just you have to decide what you want and then be okay with it. I feel like this is a real one. Got a baby, getting fed, got a boobie hanging out, obviously underneath your little curtain. We are 8 weeks into 2 kids.
Yeah, we make it work.
Yeah, going from 1 to 2 has been quite the transition.
Yeah, but I would say it's been a lot easier than I thought it would be. What do you think?
I think it's been way easier than going from 0 to 1. 0 to 1 was like a complete life uphaul. Like I had no idea, honestly, what we were getting into. I remember coming home after Luca being born, and I was like, holy shit, like I can't believe they just let us come home with this thing.
Yeah.
And we came home, and now all of a sudden we had a baby that we were responsible for, and there's no instruction manual.
Nope.
Do you remember when he came home and we had that book that everybody had recommended?
Yes.
What was it called?
Baby Wise.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, this is, if you follow this thing, your baby will sleep. And at some point I was like, you can go fuck yourself, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Do you remember how hard that was?
It was really hard. And it just makes you feel like you're failing as a mother if your child just doesn't follow the schedule that they have in the book.
Yeah, and I think by like month 3, it's like, your child should be sleeping these hours. I'm like, it's a baby. I don't know that it works that way.
Not a robot. But we butted heads a lot on it. You were like, just get him on the schedule. Just make it work. And I was like,
well, I think that's
that's
the control side of me. I was trying to make sure that, if we could control it, we did. And it was a really big surrendering to what life gives you when it comes with a baby.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it made it a lot easier when Enzo was born, who's under here, by the way. When Enzo was born, just because it was, I don't know, it wasn't as scary. Like, I knew how to change a diaper. I knew how to feed him a bottle.
Yep.
I knew that we weren't going to get a lot of sleep. So.
Yeah. I think knowing what to expect with the second one has made it so much easier.
Yeah.
To go from 1 to 2. And also just not even wanting to get him on a schedule has made it like a lot more enjoyable for me.
That's good.
Yeah. What was the hardest part for you?
It was hard for me to slow down with Enzo. I made a commitment to myself and a commitment to you that I was going to take a month off work. And so that meant like no traveling. I wasn't going to do my weekly coaching calls with, individually. I was really going to take a step back. And so that was hard for me to slow down, especially because I felt like I was building momentum in my business, and it felt like that put everything on a screeching halt.
Yeah.
But that was only hard to begin with. What I think I learned from that was a lot. I learned the ability to be able to really be in the moment and be present. And I think that helped open up a lot in me of seeing what I wasn't seeing in my business that I needed to work on, specifically around being more aware of the work that's actually important versus just busy work.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you were nervous about, you didn't think I was going to stay home, did you?
No.
Tell me a little about that. Like, what were your what was going through your mind?
Yeah. Well, once we brought Luca home, that was just really hard. It was a really hard postpartum experience. I think you started getting back into work after like 2 days or something. and I was just at home with the baby trying to figure out like how to get him to sleep and when he needs to be fed, you know, and all the things that you learn as a first-time parent. And I know you're just a naturally driven person. You are really interested in what you do and love what you do, and I know that it's really hard for you to like put time aside to not work, because I think you do truly enjoy it. But so I was nervous that you weren't going to be able to like actually take the time.
Yeah. You know, I think one of the things that I've spent a lot of time reflecting on is, you know, we made a decision together that you were going to be a stay-at-home mom after Luca was born.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that we were going to go from 2 incomes down to 1 income, and that I was going to be the sole producer and the sole provider for the family monetarily, there was a lot of pressure on me.
Yep.
And at that time, the real estate market was so hot and things were moving so fast that I felt compelled to stay in the business, to make as much money as possible, so that in the event that the market turned, which it did, we had put ourselves in a good position.
Right.
And from the outside looking in, I've been very open about this, but there was a lot of people being like, I felt like there was a lot of judgment towards me for going back early, from you and from, you know, just other people. And while I understand it, at the same time, I think if the roles were reversed, you might have done this. I wonder if you would have done the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know. That's hard to say. I can't answer that question because I just love being at home with the babies, you know.
And you don't have to understand it.
Yeah.
But the pressure that came along with that, I felt like I was doing what was best. This time, I was like, these are such precious moments. Knowing what I know from last time, I think I'm going to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
So you live and you learn.
I mean, I understand you wanting to get back and take advantage of the state of the market.
Yeah.
And yes, it was hard, but I think we've moved past that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this postpartum experience, just having you home for 5 weeks with Enzo so that, you know, I could like sleep in the morning if I needed to, the whole experience was just really healing, I feel like, from the first one, which
Tell me more.
was good.
What do you feel like, what part was healed for you?
I felt like you listened to me, or just like, I felt like you really wanted to be there for our family, but then also for me. So I feel like I was actually heard this time. Yeah. My brain is so foggy as like someone who sleeps in like max 4-hour increments.
Yeah, you're going through a lot. I mean, the fact that you're doing this says a lot. I feel like I think to what you were saying in the nice card that you wrote me, I think there was a lot of healing. You know, I did want to do this firstly for myself, because I wanted to be home and experience this. And then I also wanted to show you that I care about you and I love you and I heard you and I understood what you were saying.
Yeah.
And I think you were really adaptable to understanding that, and with building Be the Standard, that there was still marketing that I had to do online that I wanted to do in order to build it, to maintain momentum. There was still an hour and a half a week where I was coaching, but I always tried to do that work when Luca was down for a nap.
Right.
Which took away time from us to hang out, but the majority of the time you were sleeping anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was really helpful to have help with Luca as well, because they're both very young, and Luca still very much needs dedicated one-on-one time.
Were you scared that I wasn't going to live up to my word?
I was. There were a couple moments too during that 5 weeks where I knew you were getting on calls, and then you were trying to be on calls and be with Luke, and I was like, he's gonna go back to work. I just know it, and I'm gonna have to figure this out at like 3 weeks. And I got kind of upset, and I brought it up to you, and I think that's when you started going through something too.
I was really angry.
Yeah, you were really angry.
Yeah.
Why were you angry?
It's a great question. I look back, I think I've talked to Tim Adams about this. I was really angry because wherever I was at, I wasn't there. I was in constant resistance. So when I was with you guys, I was thinking about work, and then when I was working, I was thinking about you guys. And it's a pattern of mine where I think I can do everything all the time and be everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment, and it wasn't week 3, it was week 2, where there was a massive pivot. And that pivot for me was everything that I need and all the lessons that I can get from this are in the present moment. Mm-hmm. And what opened up for me was I was able to like see Luca. For Luca, we built an amazing connection after that moment. Like we were able to bond and we were just having fun. He taught me a lot about just, as adults, I think we all seek this desire to become kids. And we just want to have that freedom as a kid, and so to watch it, you get like this taste of it and this experience of it. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing that kind of was on my heart was like this connection that I really built with God and my faith over those 5 weeks, because it was a lot of just him saying the same thing of just like let go, let go, let go. And what he was telling me to let go of was like just let go of what you're thinking about and be here.
Mm-hmm. Be present.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. It was really cool too to see the two of you bond so much and grow your relationship. Because once I had to step back in with you traveling again, I feel like he kind of like flip-flopped where he was like, Dad, no, don't leave me.
Yeah.
So
it's cool to have that bond with him, and I think it still exists.
It definitely does.
And it helps me really connect with him.
Yeah.
What was it like, we go through these 4.5 weeks, it's a lot of fun, we're spending time together, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, hey, I'm leaving Tuesday, yeah. I'll be gone for a week, and Lizzie, you're up. What was that transition like?
I was definitely nervous for you to go back to work, and I was trying to think through how I was gonna do, certain things like feed the baby and also manage to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the table for Luca. So as much as like pre-planning and all the thinking that you can do in your head, sometimes you just have to do it. But I think there were some things that we both did to kind of make my life easier, like meal prep lunches and then portion them out, was huge. And all the postpartum meals that I made during pregnancy, and then also your family has been amazing to help with Luca, like taking Luca overnight, like one night a week, has been huge. And then also the extra day at school has also been really, really helpful. So I think it was a lot easier than I thought it would be, but this time I was willing to accept the help. I think with Luca, I was very resistant to any help.
We had to have a conversation.
Yeah.
It was a pretty heavy conversation where we were talking about getting a nanny. Mm-hmm. We were talking about putting him in daycare. Yeah. Because when you were pregnant in the 3rd trimester, which fellas, if your wife's in the 3rd trimester, you're going to work on your patience. And I get it.
Everyone's experience is different.
Really?
Yes. I just had a lot of pregnancy anger because I think probably because I didn't trust that you were actually going to be there.
That's
for
fair.
Me.
Maybe I shouldn't project that hard. But my experience in the 3rd trimester was that was wild. But we had a hard conversation. It's not just you. Like I knew what was going on. It's not like I was oblivious to it. Like I had grace for it. But the conversation we had was like, do we want to put him in daycare? Do we want to get a nanny? What do we want to do? Mm-hmm. And inevitably you're like, no, I want to do this. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, okay, well then if this is what you want, then when shit gets hard, you have to remind yourself that this is what you want. And it doesn't mean you can't complain about it. Doesn't mean it can't be hard. But I think it was a choice, and I'm glad that you chose that, because I've seen you become an even better, connected, deeper, like mother version of yourself.
Yeah.
The moment that you're like, this is what I want. What was that experience like?
Yeah. Well, it took me months to get there, because I think we went on our like little baby moon getaway in like January or something, and that's when we started talking about getting a nanny and stuff. So it took me like 3 months to get there, but I just realized after going through interviews with people and like people not showing up, or people like ending up getting a full-time job instead of the part-time job that we were willing to offer, I was like, maybe this is just a sign that I need to do this on my own. And then I started to think about Luca, and he turned 2 last month in April, and I was like, okay, I only have a few more summers or years with him before he's in school full time, and I want to try and enjoy this part of life with him instead of just shipping him off to someone who can take care of him or like raise him. So I just didn't want to miss out on those moments with him, and so I was like, I know this is going to be hard, but I'll figure it out, and this is what I want, because I said I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. But it doesn't come without actually accepting help when people offer.
Yeah, I think that's huge, right? One is the ability to accept help and receive help when you need it. And then 2, whether somebody chooses to put their kid in daycare or hire a nanny or be a stay-at-home mom, or it's a combination of them, I think the big thing is just you have to decide what you want and then be okay with it. I mean, none of them are better than the other. You do what you have to do. We're just fortunate enough to be in that spot where my parents, I mean, they're wonderful. The relationship that Luca has with my parents is incredible. And so to know that they're picking him up and it helps you, and he's happy, and like, they're happy, it's amazing.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, and I don't mean to say that to be like judgmental on any other families that, have a different setup than we do.
Don't worry, YouTube will tell us that we're assholes.
Probably, which I don't mean. It's just what I wanted for our kids.
YouTube commenters are crazy. Some people love us, some people don't like us. That's pretty normal.
It's okay. It'll come from me.
So we're 2 months into Enzo being here, and now you are heavily into like getting your body back.
Yeah.
Talk to me, because like the last 2 weeks you've dialed in your macros, and you're going to the gym 2 out of the 4 mornings every week, and then you're also going the 2 days when Luca's at school. So you're going to the gym 4 days a week on 4 hours of sleep. What has that been like?
So trying to get back into a little bit of a routine. I enjoy working out for my mental health, and then as a really great benefit comes
Hold on.
a great body.
Are you really working out first for your mental health?
It helps me feel better, so much. So I feel like that's the top priority, and because of that, like I get to feel better about my body and all of that. So it's the other outcomes of that, of feeling better. But yeah, I think establishing a workout routine much earlier than I did with Luca has been really helpful. I feel better just getting in the gym, and it's kind of empowering to just kind of figure it out, Yes, I'm tired. I sleep anywhere from like 2 to, he's been sleeping some longer stretches, so like 5 hours at a time. And I don't know, when I feel like I tell myself that just do it, you'll feel better after the fact, makes it kind of hurt less than
Yeah.
it would. And Coach Tim Adams said something that has always stuck in the back of my head too when I talked to him before Enzo was born and we were struggling so much. He just said, even when you're tired, just get up and go. It doesn't matter if it's like a full workout, just move your body a little bit, get those endorphins moving, and you'll feel better. And so that's kind of what I focused on.
That's great. There's something empowering about doing hard shit.
Yeah.
When you don't want to, and like there's this voice in my head being like, oh, there's so many other people who aren't doing this. And so to me, I'm like, yeah, you are. And it's,
You're so competitive.
I know.
It's who you are.
It is just who I am, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's been great to watch you kind of it's been inspiring to me to watch you get back in the gym, you know, and just get after it.
Yeah.
And so anytime I'm tired, I'm like, well, Lizzi's doing this. I better just shut the fuck up and get after it.
Yeah, right. You're the one on the kick, getting up at like 3 a.m.
I've been doing that for years.
I know, but the time just like gets earlier and earlier every year. I feel like soon enough you'll be up at like bar closing time. Soon
enough, I'm just gonna be like a plant, and I won't sleep at all, and I'll get all of my energy from the sun. I'll just be like, and I'll just chlorophyll, and that'll be it.
Totally.
I won't even need to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll be a robot.
Yeah.
I'll get that Interlink thing put in me, like Elon, and then I'll just be like, powering down, powering up.
Down. And have leather skin.
And have leather skin. Yeah, leather skin.
No, but I feel like you inspire me as well, you know, because you're on your kick and down to 9% body fat. And so I'm like, well, I got to keep up too.
Yeah. It's cool to have like especially being in a relationship where it's not competition, but it is definitely inspiration. I think there's a big thing where it's just like, it's definitely inspiration. Where I get to see what you're doing and it inspires me to go do it. And at the same time, you get it as well.
And I think what comes with that too is like the accountability.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, when you tell me you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and go work out, you better believe when I get home, I'm like, hey, hi, this is what you said last night. Do you still want to go?
Yeah.
I'm just asking, right? To me, it doesn't matter, but you told me, so I'm going to come check in on you.
And then what goes through my head is, well, if I don't do it now, I'm not going to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Or I can try to do it at nap time, but, you know, and I still do try some of the days, but sometimes it ends up being 3 minutes before one of the boys needs me, and sometimes I'm lucky to get like a full 30, 60-minute workout. But
talk about, like, what has been your experience with, obviously, you know, after having a baby, your sex life kind of dries up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you're not comfortable with your body. Those are your words, not mine. What has it been like to kind of like come across this bridge where now we're trying to get back into having physical intimacy? Because I feel like we have a really great connection emotionally and spiritually, even mentally. Like apparently we're on the same wavelength, like Avatar. We're just like mind melding.
We are.
Talk to me from like, what has been your experience like, you know, this time around trying to get back into creating a sex life for us?
Yeah. Well, after Luca, my pelvic floor was wrecked. And I'm still going to have to go back and do pelvic floor PT after Enzo, but it doesn't seem, the damage isn't as bad as it was with Luca. And so I think that's been a huge factor. And I think it just goes back to knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know. It's kind of a weird, like, personal question, you know, to put out to the world. But I was talking about it with the midwife that delivered Enzo, Paige, yesterday, and there's just hormones. I think you're producing more estrogen while you're breastfeeding, and so sometimes it's not like top of mind, honestly.
I'm sure it's not.
It's not that like I don't want to connect with you and be intimate with you. Sometimes it's just, again, like the hormones, you know, and like just like the hormones that came up in the third trimester for me during pregnancy, and I had all of this pregnancy anger and stuff.
I can't imagine that when you have a baby sucking on your boobs and you have something on you all day, that the next thing that you want is another thing touching you.
Yeah.
So I get it and I respect it. And at the same time, you've been like very open to like developing that again, which I think is important, right? Like I think I coach a lot of men who are in marriages that are completely sexless.
Yeah.
Like they go months, some of them years without having sex. And people hear that and they're like, Sergio, why is it always about sex? I'm like, it's not. But from a male's perspective, and just from like, you know, the release of like plenty of the different hormones that come out, like it binds and connects the relationship. And so, you know, it's taken time for us to rebuild it. But what's beautiful about it is it's like, you know, we're doing it in the right way. And yeah, it's personal, but at the same time, it's like everybody goes through it.
Yeah.
Every woman is in recovery. Every man's just like Pavlov's dog. They're just like, when are we doing this? Is there any water coming anytime soon? Are we still in this desert? How much longer are we walking through this desert? And you're just like, yeah, I mean, we can try.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a normal conversation that doesn't get talked about, but it's important because, you know, what I will say is, as a man, right, specifically me, you know, the stressors that come with business and the stressors that come with life and the stressors that just build, you know, if there's not that stress release, if you will, it takes a toll.
Yeah.
And so it's been nice to kind of like start this over with you and just kind of rebuild it.
Yeah. I think we have a lot of trust too, like between the two of us, especially after this second postpartum experience of like, we can try and it might be a little awkward,
Yeah.
you know, or whatnot.
It's kind of like losing your virginity again.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Because
remember the first time we hooked up, we were both drunk. So we were like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And now this time we're both dead sober and it's been a minute and it's really awkward and we're trying to figure it out.
haven't slept.
Yeah.
Body's different.
We're like going at it and both of us are just like, wait, are we still going? I even asked and I was like, we should. And you're like, okay, we'll do it. And then the baby woke up and I was like, oh, I guess we can't. You're like, it's not like it's going to last that long. And I was like, geez, I get it. Taking shots.
Coming in hot.
Sorry, babe. No, I get it.
But yeah, I don't know.
I'm the wildest rat in the wilderness, babe.
Totally. But I do think like, yes, you have to prioritize it because, I don't know, as much as I don't like need some space or I've been touched out because I'm holding a baby and I'm attached to a baby all day long. And then I've got my toddler and somehow I'm carrying both of them at the same time. You know, like I don't want to be touched again,
I get it.
but like I do feel like it's important to maintain.
Yeah. We're not going on date nights right now because obviously it's hard. My parents will watch Luca.
Yeah.
But Enzo's kind of restricted.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about like, what do you feel like we've been doing that has helped us not be able to stay like connected through date nights? Because those are like very important. We'll get to those. But what do you feel like we're doing now that's helped kind of like, you know, what am I trying to say? Build that bridge or mend that gap until we can go back on date nights.
I think I feel like it's just the small, like simple things. Like, you had mentioned before that, you know, you would love for me to get up early so that we can have coffee together before the boys get up, since that seems to be pretty consistent with them sleeping in the morning. And so, like, me getting up the other day to come down and have coffee with you, or like you getting or taking time off of work or just ending work a little bit earlier one day for us to go on like a family walk. That has been really nice. We've been able to have some lunches together all together. So I think it's the small things right now that can easily be overlooked, but it's really hard to be able to go on a date night right now at this point. Like,
I agree.
I don't feel comfortable leaving Enzo, and he doesn't really take a bottle. And so...
that's not true. He takes a bottle from me.
From you, not from me.
I would agree with you. I think it's the little things, like sitting on the couch at night with no TV on and talking. It's the coffee in the morning or the walks. It's talking in the bathroom when we're getting ready before the boys are up. We're just doing what we can with what we have.
Yeah.
And while that's been hard for me, because, you know, when you're this tired, I saw this meme where it's like, oh, when you and your wife go on a date for the first time without any kids and you realize you don't hate each other, you are just tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sometimes how I feel. I'm like, you are annoying the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm actually just really tired. You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so I look
Or-
forward to those.
Yeah.
What do you want our first date night to be? If you could like plan it out, what would it be?
Oh gosh. A nice dinner sounds really good.
Yeah?
Because I'm kind of tired of cleaning up the house so much
Yeah.
between cooking 3 meals and all of that. But like a hike would be nice too.
Yeah.
Something like that. What do you think?
I would love for us to get up early, go grab coffee,
Yep.
go out and go on a hike, come back, grab some lunch, get a little, if you know what I'm talking about, and then we go out for happy hour and have some like frozen margaritas or some wine slushies, and then we go out and have some tacos, and then after tacos we come back and we eat some ice cream and we play some Phase 10,
Nice.
and then we go again if we're still awake, and then that would be it.
Sounds like a great day.
Yeah.
It's like
This-
a full date day.
It is a full date day. Baby just farted.
Toot
Enzo just
toot.
farted. Anything else you want to say?
I don't
Anything else you want to leave this group with?
know.
Okay.
I'm tired.
I'm tired too. What I'll say is like, I truly feel like this is since our wedding, this is the most connected I feel to you. I think I see you more than I've ever seen you. And I finally feel like I can own the title dad, knowing that I'm being a good husband and a good father.
Yeah.
And so I would just share, like, to all you guys and girls running your business who are married and you have kids, your ability to control your stress and just accept the chaos and surrender to it all is the fastest way for you to just appreciate it and actually thrive in it.
Yeah.
So appreciate y'all joining. Till next time, take care. Say bye, Enzo. Bye.
Bye-bye.